Hello, I'm Jimbo and welcome. I am doing two things at once today. I'm going to talk to you about preparing for your death and your family and your assets, things like that, just in generalities. But also tomorrow we have our annual wild game feed out in the hog house. And you'll learn more about what that is on this channel, or you can check out my other one, Jimbo, South Dakota. There's some information in there on it and a tour of it actually. Hopefully, me doing two things at once here, hopefully this sound won't be too annoying for you, but we're just going to roll with it. What my wife and I have done, we've got two daughters, and we have planned for them in the case of our death. Number one would be, say, if I died and the girls are helping out Mary with that stuff, or if Mary and I actually went out together in a blaze of glory and the girls have to handle it themselves. So the first thing we've done is we've done remodels and updates on the house. We're just finishing the fourth phase, which by the way is this first floor and the kitchen. This is all brand new. We've got wood we got to put up yet on the walls, and so we're still working on that. But while we were doing all the other phases and this one, we're trying to have just the minimal amount of stuff in each room. Now, not true minimalism, but just don't have a bunch of clutter and things that you don't really want or need or use kind of deal. And I've heard a lot of other people talking about this as well. So each room, we're trying to have just what we need in each room, or something that we would use at least often enough to warrant having it out. The sheds out on our acreage, we have 10 acres here, and we wanted to have the minimal there. Now I've got spare wood, you know, things that a guy would save just in case you're going to use it, but still trying to keep that at a minimum. And what I've done electronically is on my laptop, I've built a folder and it's on the desktop, and it's titled "In Case of My Death." And my daughters both know, and my wife, they know how to find that folder, and they will have access to it. And in that folder, the first thing I have that I direct them to is what I call the general document. And in that document, it starts out with like funeral stuff. Like I'm eligible to be in the military cemetery in Sioux Falls. And that's a pretty cool deal. It's actually a state, but they follow all the federal regulations for it. So we don't have to go all the way 6 hours west to Rapid City to get to the national one. It can be buried right here. And then it also has all the points of contact for every source of income, who it's coming from, and contact information, phone numbers, websites, and I believe I have a separate document that has all the passwords. So that is password protected and all that. So the girls can get into that and check that out. One thing I didn't realize was all the usages for death certificates. I had a high school buddy of mine pass away 5 years ago, way up in the northern slope in Alaska. He would work 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off up there, and he happened to pass away up there. So I helped his wife, Dora, through a lot of portion of that, and also the aftermath. It was also right at the beginning of COVID. So we had a terrible time getting death certificates, and enough death certificates. And I've got a list here. I wrote stuff down so I wouldn't forget. The death certificate usage will be for bank accounts, retirement accounts, 401ks, any insurance that's there. Like I mentioned, all the retirement pay, survivor benefits is very important. Military pay and survivor benefits for that, information with the VA, and also Social Security. Now that's just the minimum. So depending on what funeral home it is, they give you a certain amount of free death certificates. So use those wisely. Make sure you have copies, or maybe even certified copies, for all the entities that you would need to give that to in order to move forward with changing titles, deeds, any of that stuff. Another thing that you really want to make sure you've got done is your will, your living wills, and durable power of attorney for health. And now you're going to have to go to somebody and get some legal advice and make sure you've got that all straightened out. That is so important, because if you have the proper names on all your assets, and basically my point is, if you can avoid having to go to probate for all the things that need to be handled after you die, that is huge. Probate, it's very expensive, takes a long time. And then once that is all completed, and if you owe money somewhere else and maybe your dependents didn't know it, they will get paid what's due them, which is only right. But it takes a long time. So just try to prepare ahead of time for that. So the things I'm talking about, I am not a pro in. This is just general advice, because it got me thinking about my death when I was helping out Dora with her husband's death. So as I made a spreadsheet, so as I was helping her, I was making my own spreadsheet for how I was going to prepare myself and my family for that event as well. So within that electronic folder, I have other folders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So the first one, and this is extremely important if you were military, is what's called the DD-214, DD meaning Department of Defense. And those are a paper that you get every time you've been on active duty, anytime you've served in that capacity, or what they would call Title 10 service. And it tells exactly the number of years, months, days. And those are the most important military papers that you can have. So I won't even try to list all the reasons to have those. So all the DD-214s that I have are in one folder. Birth certificate, marriage certificates, if there happens to be divorce certificates, anything like that is in another folder. So it's right there for them. The last will and testament, like I mentioned, very important, but I have a folder just for those. Now, we updated ours, and you want to make sure that you update yours too, especially after death. You're going to have to update them anyway. Say if the husband passes away and the wife's there, she's going to have to redo all that because things are different. So once you get everything straightened out that way, then update that. One thing my wife and I kind of laughed about, kind of didn't laugh about, is the point is both of our daughters live in Alaska, and I always bring my laptop with me. So when I was up there, when the girls were separated, I just sat the laptop in front of one and said, "Hey, find my folder and see how long it takes you." And of course, they were both very savvy. They were able to find it very quickly. Then my wife and I are flying home, and I'm looking at her in the seat next to me with my laptop down under my feet, and I'm like, what if this plane goes down? I looked at her, I'm like, I try to be very careful with my files, but how about a backup? If the laptop goes, then they don't have anything to reference, which is kind of dumb on my part. So I've built backups, and I'm not sure at this point if I'm just going to send them some thumb drives with that information on there. Of course, you want to protect it as well as you can. Or if I'm going to have some physical papers, have everything copied. We do have a gun safe downstairs that's rated for a certain amount of heat and a certain amount of like water level. So it's pretty hardy. So that would be a really good place. And we've already got a bunch of our papers down there anyway, with vehicle titles and just basically important papers that you could use what do they call it? Like the security deposit box or whatever in the bank. You could definitely, that's safe because it's not on your property as well. So you decide where and how you want to do your backups and things. So these are just suggestions on how to make yourself feel better. Talk to your family about it. We're all going to die. Don't be afraid of it. And do the best that you can and not leave a ton of crap for your family to deal with. And I'm talking physical stuff or legal stuff, mental stuff, because they're going to be dealing with your death enough as it is. So I'm trying to think here. Had some things written down. I think I touched everything on there. So give it some thought. It's definitely worth thinking about. It's definitely worth putting some time into. And oh, by the way, a lot of us are retired. So use that time, and you don't have to rush, but just be diligent on taking some steps, preparing, and help your family as much as you can when you're not there with them anymore. So that's all I have. Thanks for watching. I'm going to get back to making these meatballs. Take care.